Hello everyone, Ace here, and today, PewDiePie has actually provided a response regarding the recent controversy over his recent donation to the ADL. And as such, I'm simply going to read it here to you now. Misrepresenting headlines of me has led me down a path of twists with MSN for years now. Previously, it hasn't bothered me much. I know who I am. But after the New Zealand travesty a few months ago, my own clash with MSN was manipulated as a tool for destruction. I'm not okay with this situation any longer, and I've felt responsibility to make changes. Making a donation to ADL doesn't make sense to everyone, especially since they've outright spoken against me. I wanted to show publicly that I can move past it and move on. I think that it's important. This just isn't my fight anymore. Given the writing of this particular statement, I actually believe that these are in fact PewDiePie's own words, and not merely transcribed for him from a lawyer or anything like that. But aside from that, there are two things to take away from this particular statement. The first and most obvious is the fact that PewDiePie is still very clearly haunted by what has happened in New Zealand, and that it was so wrongly attributed to his good name. Not by just that particular perpetrator, but also by the mainstream media at large. The second thing of note is that this appears to be PewDiePie's effort to try to bury the hatchet between himself and the mainstream media, even if that means donating $50,000 to an organization that has tried to both defame and deplatform him in the past. Now, as one could tell by the number of likes and retweets on this particular post, in comparison to the number of comments on it, PewDiePie does not actually seem to be getting ratioed in this particular post, and as such, the fans are by and large still supporting him. And what's more, stats from Social Blade over his YouTube channel seem to also corroborate this, as despite the day still being rather young, he's managed to make good strides nevertheless. Another interesting thing to note is some of the tweets that have been made in response to this particular news. The official Twitter profile for Gab.com seems to believe that whether or not PewDiePie intended it, his donation still managed to red pill millions of Gen Zers on the truth about the ADL, and what type of organization that they actually are. Or as the old saying goes, sunlight is said to be the best of disinfectants. Another really interesting tweet was presented to us by Mala Banana, who actually argued along similar lines to a theory that I've presented myself in a previous video, that this could be an example of PewDiePie performing a 4D chess move. And what's interesting to note is that despite the fact that this particular comment is actually in response to another earlier comment made by someone else, it still managed to get as many likes and retweets as it did, showing that a lot of people seem to support this particular theory. So what are my thoughts on all of this? Well, from a purely logical perspective, I don't entirely support his particular plan. However, considering that he is still very clearly haunted by the New Zealand tragedies, I can still see why he has done it nevertheless, and I cannot in good faith condemn him for his actions here. Nevertheless, as I've said in the past, this could still be an opportunity to actually drive a wedge between the ADL and the social justice community, which of course would weaken the ADL in the long run. In other words, regardless of PewDiePie's intentions, I do of course still believe that there are some opportunities for intrigue. But it will still be interesting to see what the ADL and its leader actually say regarding all of this, as they have yet to make any public statements regarding the matter. I will of course continue to keep my ear to the ground to see if there's any more news that comes from this, as I suspect there very well may be. But in any case, this has been Ace. Hope to see you guys again soon. Take care. Ace out.